Kim Alexis was discovered in her hometown when she was just 17 years old. She went on to take the world by storm as a supermodel during the 80s. And along the way, Kim developed some health issues that motivated her to become the health advocate for healthy living that she is today.
One of the 80s most photographed faces was that of supermodel Kim Alexis. She appeared on more than 500 magazine covers. Since those days, Kim has remained an advocate for and example of clean living and aging gracefully and naturally. With her book, Super Health, and many other articles, Kim lets us in on a wide range of tips that will help us do the same.
All right, well, Kim Alexis joins us now. Welcome to the 700 Club, Kim.
Yes, welcome back.
Yes, welcome back.
Yes, I used to be here as your fitness and nutrition expert, and I would get Pat on the ground doing sit-ups live on TV.
Oh my gosh, we have to eventually show that sometimes.
Oh, yeah, I would love
awesome.
to see that.
That's
yes.
awesome. I know a lot of fans are watching right now, yeah.
Oh.
Well, let's get into your story. So you began modeling at 18 years old.
Yes.
That is amazing. How did that even happen?
I thought I wanted to be a pharmacist, so I enrolled in my senior year in high school early, and I thought, you know, I had my life planned, and you know, you're not sure when you're 17, 18, like you're supposed to pick a career and that's where you're going to stay. So I kind of just blindly picked pharmacy, but enrolled in college and then thought I had all this extra time to make money or try to get extra pocket change before I went to college. So I decided to go into modeling, but to be in the modeling in Buffalo, where I'm from, I had to go through a school. And I was in school and I would be swimming, coming from swimming practice, long wet hair, and so I literally felt like a fish out of water because I was such a tomboy. And I'm trying this business that I had no business being in this business, right? And got pulled out of class one night. I thought they were kicking me out of the school.
Oh, wow.
Because I didn't belong. And instead they said, do you want to go to New York? And I said, no, I'm going to be a pharmacist. I have my life planned. And so it took a lot of work before they finally took pictures. And then I figured, my parents always raised me to try new things. Just try. You can always, if you put your mind to something, you can do anything you want to do. So I just tried, and I had a cover of a magazine in the first 4 days.
Oh my gosh, that is absolutely amazing.
Well,
and
I think God had to do that because I was going bad. I didn't put up with stuff. I learned to protect and have healthy boundaries. That's a very important part of my message, is giving that inner strength to others to let them know this is where I stand, and don't go past things.
Yeah, well, you also mentioned that you had an agent who said some things to you that really affected you and your relationship with food. Talk about that a little bit.
As I was discovered, so here I am. It's March of my senior year. I'm still 17. I graduated high school at 17 and waited till I was 18 to go to New York. But he said parting words to me as he offered me a year's contract, guaranteed money, because he was so sure that I was going to work and be fine. He said, you need to lose 15 pounds. I was swimming 5.5 hours a day. We were ranked #1 in New York State. Our team was undefeated. I was healthy and I was fit, and it threw me into a whole tailspin of I'm not good enough.
Wow.
That message of, okay, well, I can be a model, but I'm not good enough the way I am. And that whole thought process of how that affected the rest of me was, it still sticks to me sometimes, and all models have that, of some part of them that they don't like. And it's interesting because other people will be like, you don't have any problems, or you don't whatever, or they don't see it, or they're not focusing on it. So it's a silly thing we all seem to have.
Yeah, I think all women experience something like that along the way. But what was the breaking point for you? I mean, how did you, because that comment affected you in many ways. I mean, you did lots of different things to try to maintain your weight.
Right, and many unhealthy things.
Yeah. What were some of those things? And then what was the breaking point for you?
Well, I'm still learning the breaking point.
We're all learning. We're all still learning.
Yeah. For me, I think I was working for Vogue. I was working with Mr. Irving Penn, wonderful, kind, quiet gentleman of a photographer, using a 4x5 camera, Hasselblad. And he I decided that day that I felt fat working with Vogue. So I decided, okay, I'm just not going to eat. And so we went through hair, makeup, clothing, all that took hours, right? So now it's lunchtime. This is a full day of work starting at 9. So by lunch, I'm made up and stuff. And so Mr. Penn calls lunch and everyone had to stop. I decided I was just going to stand there and not eat. And so I didn't eat, and I was starving.
Of course, yeah.
And so then I got dressed afterwards, and I went on the set, and I sat down. He looked through his lens. He looked at the people from Vogue. He looks back in his lens, and he says, I can't work with her. She has no life in her eyes. Get off set.
Whoa.
I never worked with him again.
Oh my goodness.
So what was I going to lose? 10 pounds while I was not eating lunch?
Wow.
It was silly. So I had to learn natural, healthy ways to be supporting. I mean, because you've got this like pull in your system. I'm fat and I can't eat. I want to eat because it's part of being of life and of living. And so how do you balance that? And that's just something I've learned every single day, which led me to write a book called Cheat Eat.
Yes, absolutely.
And it's taking any recipe and then saying, oh, well, instead of that, I could use this. This is healthier.
Yeah.
And so I just am a big rebellious person with recipes. I'm constantly changing recipes and I never follow exactly, and I'm like, oh, I don't have half and half, or I don't have buttermilk, so I'm gonna use yogurt and add this, and I just make my own little concoctions.
I love that. Absolutely.
And I have a wonderful husband who eats anything I give him, and he's just happy.
That's awesome. Well, you're such a health advocate, and your book is called Super Health, and a lot of the book is your story of how, you know, you've overcome some health challenges. What were maybe some of those health challenges that you were able to overcome that you mentioned in the book?
So as I was 33, I'd had my third son, and I noticed that he would take naps and I would have to take naps with him. And I didn't realize that I'd been so blessed with so much energy in my 20s, and so now I'm in my 30s with 3 children and 2 stepchildren and running around and all the sports and everything, and I was starting to drag. And so my older son was having problems with learning, so we went to an allergist, and I was filling out the forms for him because he's still young, right? So as a mother, you're filling out your kids' forms, and they had them in sections. And I'm filling them out for him. I'm like, wait a minute. Every one of those symptoms is me. So I said to the doctor, I'm like, what does this mean if I have all those? And she's like, you best go to check out your thyroid. And so I learned that I had a slow thyroid, and I needed that whole journey of figuring out what does that mean? How do I fix it? And
yeah. Well, I just applaud you for being so open and honest about all the things that you've overcome, and I'm sure it's going to help a lot of people, what you mentioned in your book. But I also wanted to talk about how you are very public with the fact that you do not dye your hair, you don't do Botox, you don't do plastic surgery. What are some of the things that you have incorporated into your life that keep you healthy and alive and maintain beauty within as well?
Well, of course, it's Jesus in your heart. So that's the big thing. And there's no life without him.
Amen.
But he also gave us a healthy, beautiful, natural world filled with plants and herbs and so many different things. And we have messed up products, we have messed up our food, we have messed up so many things. We've intervened man-wise, as we do with everything. So the more you learn about what is natural or what has been messed with, the more I try to stay with how God made it, because he made everything to work together for good. Everything, everywhere, all of the little cells and all to the big, huge things. So why mess with that? So the closer I can stay to clean and natural in every area, from my thought process to what I put in my body, to what I breathe, to what I think about, and all of it is just tied together. So it's avoiding toxins and avoiding negativity and avoiding as much of all of that as possible, and that takes awareness, and that takes studying, and that takes just finding tools that help you. So I have found little, and we were sharing it with the makeup artist, like little apps like, oh, is this product good, or what's in this, or because there's just so much, and some of the, we can't pronounce every single ingredient. We can't be aware of which ones are bad and which ones are good. So sometimes it's helpful to turn to experts who have already done that homework for you.
Read the labels and get some of those apps, because I have some of them, like Think Dirty and several others that are just really helpful.
EWG.
Yes, Well, Kim, thank you so much for being back with us on the 700 Club. We love having you. And you are a woman of faith, and that's why we love having you, because you're such a beautiful woman of faith and a health advocate as well. So we love that. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, everyone. Well, Kim's book is called Super Health, and it's available nationwide.